Welcome to my channel. I hope you like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this super fun loopy vest. It's very easy to make. I hope you like it. Many months ago, I received a message where someone asked if I could make a sweater or a vest using this loopy stitch pattern. So here it is. I hope you like it. The one we're going to make in the tutorial is for 3 to 4 years, but you can easily make it smaller or bigger, from 2 to 3 years and up to 4 to 6 years old. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, make sure to comment and like the tutorial, and let me know if you want me to make a sweater version with sleeves. I'll gladly go ahead and do that, but make sure to comment. To make the vest, this is the yarn that I used. This is Lion Brand Pound of Love. Now, for the 3 to 4 year size, which is this here, I used a total of 252 grams, including both colors. For the primary color, which is the pink, I used 210 grams, and for the secondary color I used 42 grams. So that's a total of 252 grams, which is about 567 yards or 517 meters. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. You will also need 5 buttons. These are 20 millimeter size. Again, depending on the size that you make, you may need smaller size or bigger size buttons. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notifications bell. And remember, all of my tutorials are always in English and in Spanish. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using this 5mm crochet hook, and today I'm using medium weight yarn. You can also use Aran weight or 10 ply. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn we're going to need for the size that we're making here in the tutorial. Remember, at the end of the tutorial, I always leave you the finished measurements, and you can find gauge information in the description box below. So here, to begin, I have my chain ready. I have 65 chains. Now, this chain, without stretching, it's measuring about 40.5 centimeters, which is about 16 inches. If you're off by 1 or 2 centimeters, it's okay. Continue with the first row. So here, to begin, like I said, I have 65 chains. Beginning into the second chain from the hook, make a single crochet. Now, for this section here, I'm going to make a total of 9 single crochets. So into the next chain, make a single crochet and continue until you have 9. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 single crochets. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, these 9 single crochets represent the first front panel. Into the next chain, I'm going to make the first corner. So insert your hook into the next chain and make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into this same stitch. Now, make sure to place a stitch marker here to mark the chain space. And you're going to do the same thing for each corner. Now, I'm going to continue here for the next section. I'm going to make a total of 12 single crochets. So beginning into the next chain, make a single crochet and continue until you have 12. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I made 12 double crochets for this section. This is going to be for one of the sleeves. Now into the next chain, we're going to make the second corner. So insert your hook and make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Before you continue, make sure you place a stitch marker to mark the corner in the chain space there. Insert your marker. Now, for the next section, this is going to be for the back side. I'm going to make a total of 18 single crochets. So beginning into the next chain, make a single crochet into the next, and continue until you have 18. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I made 18 single crochets for the back side. here's the second corner. We have the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. So we're going to start counting from here. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 single crochets for the back side. Now into the next chain, make the third corner. So make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Before you continue, mark the corner by placing a stitch marker in the chain space. Now for the next section, I'm going to make 12 double crochets, and this is for the second sleeve. So into the next chain, make a single crochet into the next, and so on until you have 12. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I made these 12 double crochets for the second sleeve. Now into the next chain, we're going to make the fourth corner. So make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Now place a stitch marker in the chain space to mark the corner. Now here you should be left with 9 chains. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. So make 1 single crochet into each one of these chains, and this is going to be for the second from panel. Continue, finish row 1. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making these last 9 single crochets. Now at the end of this first row, you should have a total of 68 single crochets. I'm not counting the chains, I'm just counting the actual single crochets. So this is how it should look. We have 2 front panels, 2 sleeves, and we have the back side. Now we're going to start the stitch pattern that I'm going to use for the little sweater, which is the loopy stitch or the loop stitch. And it's going to look like this. Now this stitch is worked over 2 rows, 1 row of single crochets and then 1 row of the loop stitch. So let me show you. For row 2, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Row 2 is being worked on the wrong side. So to begin here, we're always going to begin with a single crochet on top of the first stitch. So here to begin, insert your hook through both loops of the next stitch. I have this yarn here, and then I have this yarn here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a loop from this yarn that's right behind this one here. So you're just going to go over this one and wrap the yarn around that loop or that yarn that's behind this one and pull it through. Now to adjust the length of the loop, you're going to pull the working yarn until you have the size loop that you want. I want mine to be about this big. It's not exactly the same size as my finger, but it's a tiny bit more. So I'm going to pull the yarn, remove it, hold it, and close the stitch. Again, insert your hook into the next stitch, go over this yarn and grab the loop from behind, bring it through, hold it, pull the working yarn to tighten that stitch or the loop, hold it with your 2 fingers here, and close the stitch. Again, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, pull the yarn, hold the loop, bring the yarn again, and close the stitch. Once you get a bit of practice, it should all work out. Again, insert your hook, grab a loop from behind, tighten that loop, and close the single crochet. Again, grab a loop from the yarn that's behind, adjust the loop, hold it, and close. Hold it and close. here are the stitches for the front panel. Let's see, I did a single crochet and then I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loops. So total 10 stitches here. Now I have the first corner, remove the stitch marker. In the chain space here, make a single crochet. Make sure that you're going through the chain, not the stitch here. And make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Make sure to always return the stitch marker to mark the chain space, otherwise you will get lost. So that's going to help a great deal. Now I'm going to work the next section. Here I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 loops. So beginning into the next stitch, insert your hook, grab a loop from the back, bring it through, adjust the length of your loop, remove it, but make sure to hold it and close the single crochet. Notice that this row is being worked from the wrong side because you want the loops to be on the right side. There, I finished this section here for the sleeves. Now I have the second corner, remove the stitch marker, and in the chain space, you're going to make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Return the stitch marker to mark the corner, put it in the chain space. Now for the next section here, you're going to work a loop on each one of these single crochets and then work the third corner. Here you're going to make a single crochet, chain 1 single crochet, then continue with the next section, which is for the second sleeve. Here you're going to work a loop on each one of these single crochets and then work the fourth corner. In the chain space, same thing. You're going to make a single crochet, chain 1 single crochet, and then continue here with these last stitches for the second front panel. I will meet you here at the end of this row to show you how we're going to finish this second row. I'm here at the end of the second row. On top of the last stitch here, make a single crochet. And this is how I finish row 2. Remember that for row 2, you always start with a single crochet and you end with a single crochet on top of the last stitch. Now at the end of this second row, you should have a total of 76 stitches. From here on, we're going to increase by 8 stitches at the end of each row. Each of the front panels has 11 stitches. Each of the sleeves has 16 stitches, and for the back side I have 22 stitches. So that's a total of 76 stitches at the end of row 2. I'm not counting the chain spaces, I'm only counting the actual stitches. Now for row 3, chain 1 and turn. Now for row 3, all you do is just work 1 single crochet on top of each stitch. So beginning on top of the first stitch, make your first single crochet and continue until you come to the first corner. I'm going to show you how you're going to work each corner once I get there. There. The next stitch here is the corner. So in the chain space, make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Place the stitch marker always to mark the corner, so place it in the chain space. And that's how you're going to continue for row 3. Row 3 is being worked on the right side. Go ahead and finish the third row. I will meet you at the end. I finished row 3. Row 3 is being worked on the right side. At the end of row 3, I have a total of 84 stitches. Each of the front panels has 12 stitches. Each of the sleeves has 18 stitches. And for the back side, I have 24 stitches. Again, I'm not counting the chain spaces for each corner. I'm just counting the actual single crochets, including the ones here that we made for the corners. Now, for row 4, we're going to repeat the same thing we did in row 2. These are the 2 rows that we're going to repeat from here on. So for row 4, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first single crochet, make a single crochet. Now, into each one of these single crochets for this front panel, I'm going to work a loop stitch. So here to begin, into the next stitch, insert your hook and grab a loop from way back here. Bring it through, adjust the length here of this loop, hold it, and close the single crochet. Again, insert your hook, grab a loop here from behind, pull it through, adjust the length here, hold it, close. That's how I'm going to work each one of these stitches here. There. Here are the stitches for the first front panel. I did a single crochet and then I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 loops. Now I have the first corner, remove the stitch marker. In the chain space of each corner, you're going to make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Return the stitch marker to mark the corner, and then continue with the next section. Here for the sleeves, you're going to make 18, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and then work the second corner. For the back side, you're going to work 24 loops, then work the third corner. For the second sleeve, same thing, you're going to work 18 loops, then work the fourth corner, and here at the end, you're going to work 11 loops, and on top of the last stitch, you're going to make a single crochet. Go ahead and finish row 4. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 4. To finish this row, remember you always finish with a single crochet. And this is how I finish row 4. In this row, we did the row of loop stitches, and I have a total of 92 stitches at the end of this row. Each of the front panels has 13 stitches. Each of the sleeves has 20 stitches, and for the back side, I have 26 stitches. So that's a total of 92 stitches at the end of row 4. Now, from here on, you're going to continue on your own and repeat the last 2 rows that I showed you, the row of loop stitches and the row of single crochets. And at the end of each row, you're going to increase by 8 stitches. Each of the front panels is going to grow by 1 stitch. So 1 stitch on this side and 1 stitch on this side. For each of the sleeves, it's going to grow by 2 stitches. 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And for the back side, it's going to grow by 2 stitches at the end of each row. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do, but continue watching. You will see exactly how many rows I'm going to make here for the yoke. And all we're going to do is just repeat the last 2 rows that I showed you, the row of loop stitches and the row of single crochets. So here I'm going to start you off with row 5. Row 5 is the same as row 3. So you're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 5 is being worked on the right side. So here all you do for this row is work single crochets on top of each stitch like this. I'm going to show you how you're going to work each corner. It's the same thing we've been doing in the last 4 rows. So you're going to continue with the same thing. Everything else is the same. Here's the front panel. Here I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 stitches. Remove the stitch marker. In the chain space of each corner, you're going to make a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Return the stitch marker to mark the corner, so place it in the chain space, and then you're going to continue and do the same thing for each section. 1 single crochet on top of each stitch from the previous row. And that's how you're going to continue for row 5. At the end of row 5, you're going to have 100 stitches. Now, continue watching. You will see exactly how many rows I'm going to do here for the yoke. So I will meet you at the end of that row. I finished the yoke. I did a total of 14 rows. At the end of row 14, I have a total of 172 stitches. Each of the front panels has 23 stitches. Each of the sleeves has 40 stitches. And for the back side, I have 46 stitches. The last row that I did was the row of loops. Now, I wrote down the stitch count here for you. I even included the first 4 rows. Row 5 is where I left off. So for row 5, that was a row of single crochets. At the end of row 5, you should have had 100 stitches. So each front panel should have had 14 stitches, each of the sleeves 22, and for the back side 28. I did the same thing for row 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Like I said, at the end of row 14, I had 172 stitches, 23 stitches for each of the front panels, 40 stitches for each of the sleeves, and 46 stitches for the back. At the end of row 14, the yoke, it's measuring about 13 centimeters, which is about 5 1/8 of an inch, and the chest measurement, just the top, it's measuring about 31 centimeters, which is about 12.25 inches. What we're going to do next is separate the sleeves. So we're going to start counting rows. This is going to be row 1 of the body. So to do this here, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to continue with the pattern. So here I need to work single crochets in this row. So for the first front panel, I'm going to make 23 single crochets. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 23. I have 23 single crochets here for this first front panel. Now, remove the stitch marker, and in the chain space of this first corner, insert your hook and make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now, to separate the sleeves, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to skip 40 stitches. And in the chain space of the second corner, insert your hook and make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you want to add more chains here under the sleeve to add to the chest measurement, you can. I'm only going to add 1 chain. Now, I'm going to continue along the back side and work 1 single crochet for each one of these stitches until I come here to the third corner. I will meet you here to show you how we're going to separate the second sleeve. I made these single crochets for the back side. Now, including the 3 that I did here in this corner up to here before the next corner, I have a total of 49 single crochets, including the 3 that I did in the corner. Now, in this next corner, remove the stitch marker and make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. So now for the back side, you should have a total of 52 stitches. Now to separate the second sleeve, chain 1, skip the next 40 stitches, and in the chain space of the fourth corner, make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now we have these last 23 stitches for the second from panel. Same thing. Make 1 single crochet on top of each stitch. Continue, finish row 1. I will meet you here at the end. I finished row 1. In this row, we have separated the sleeves, and I have a total of 106 stitches at the end of this row. Each of the front panels has 26 stitches. Under each sleeve, I have 1 chain, and for the back side, I have 52 stitches. So that's a total of 106 stitches at the end of row 1. From here on, we're going to continue and repeat the same 2 rows. So I've completed row 1 of single crochet. So now for row 2, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, we always start with a single crochet, and then on each one of these stitches you're going to work a loop, including here under the sleeves in the chain space. So let me start you off. Remember, the loops are done in the following way. You insert your hook through both loops, grab a loop, adjust the length of the loop there, and close. I'm happy to say that I have become an expert working this stitch. I've found ways to make it so much easier, and it works up faster for me. So you just need a little bit of patience with this stitch. It does get easier, as you can see. I'm working through this stitch faster than I did at the beginning. And this is how you're going to continue for row 2. Again, you're going to work a loop here in the chain space, and on each one of these stitches, I will meet you here at the end of row 2 to show you how we're going to finish this row. I'm here at the end of row 2. In this row, we did the row of loops. So here at the end, remember, at the end, on top of the last stitch, you always end with a single crochet. And here is row 2. At the end of this second row, I have a total of 106 stitches. Like I said, from here on, we're just going to continue and repeat the same pattern, 1 row of single crochets and then 1 row of loop stitches. So to start you off here, row 3, chain 1 and turn. And all you're going to do is work a single crochet on top of each one of these stitches, and at the end of this row you're also going to have 106 stitches, and this is how you're going to continue for the rest of the body. Now, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here, but continue watching. You will see exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so continue and I'll meet you at the end of that row. I'm almost done with the body. I have done a total of 35 rows. Turn this to the wrong side so you can count easily. From here up to here, I have 35 rows. The last row that I did was a row of single crochets. And this part here, it's measuring about 19.5 centimeters, which is about 7.75 inches. Now you can make more rows, less rows, that's fine. I only did 35. And at the end of row 35, I just cut my yarn, passed my yarn through this last loop. I'm going to continue here with row 36, and I'm going to change yarn color. This is going to be the beginning of the hem. So for row 36, if you're not changing yarn color, then just go ahead, chain 1 turn and make a single crochet on top of the first stitch and a single crochet on each one of these stitches, so that at the end of this row, row 36, you have 106 stitches. I'm changing yarn color here, so I'm just going to chain 1 and then a single crochet on top of this first stitch, then a single crochet on top of the next, and so on. For row 36, I'm just going to work single crochets from the wrong side. So go ahead, finish this row, and then I'll come back and show you how we're going to work the hem. I finished row 36. I have 106 single crochets. Now, to start on the hem, I'm going to chain 8. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now turn. Now, beginning into the second chain, make a single crochet and a single crochet into each chain so that you have 7 single crochets here. If you want to make this part here wider, you can add more chains or less. That would be up to you. There, I have 7 single crochets. 2, 4, 6, 7. Now, over the next 2 single crochets, not the first one, but rather from the second, make a slip stitch, and into the third a slip stitch. So 2 slip stitches here. Now turn, skip the 2 slip stitches that we did, and beginning into the first single crochet through the back loop only, make a single crochet and a single crochet through the back loop only into the next 6 single crochets. There, I have 7 single crochets. Now turn. Now, beginning into the first single crochet, insert your hook through both loops and make a single crochet. Now, into the next 6 single crochets, make a single crochet through the back loop only. There, I have 7 single crochets, 2, 4, 6, 7. Over the next 2 single crochets, make a slip stitch, 1 and 2. Now turn, skip the 2 slip stitches, and into each one of these single crochets, make a single crochet through the back loop only. And this is how you're going to continue for the hem. Just repeat these 2 rows. Turn, make a single crochet through both loops into the first single crochet, and a single crochet through the back loop only into the next 6 stitches. There, I have 7 single crochets. Now into the next 2 single crochets here, make a slip stitch and then turn. And this is how you're going to continue for the rest. I'm going to do this. So continue like this, and I'll meet you here at the end. I finished the hem. Now here at the end, I had 1 stitch left. I did a slip stitch, turn, skip that slip stitch, and then worked my way up. So I finished up here. Here at the end, I cut my yarn, passed my yarn through this last loop. If you finished here at the bottom, it's okay. The important thing is that you are right here along the edge of the front panel. Now we're going to work on the neckline, and we're going to go here from the wrong side. If I start on the right side, then this part here is going to be on the wrong side. So I rather start here from the wrong side on this other side and make a row of single crochets from the wrong side. So if you put this like this facing you, we're going to start here on the right front panel. So here, just bring a loop through and chain 1. Now into this same stitch here, make a single crochet into the next stitch, and so on. Here I'm just working into the foundation chain. We had these stitches left when we did the row single crochets. So right there, insert your hook and make a single crochet. I'll show you here what you need to do when you come to the corner. Here's the corner. Just insert your hook there and make a single crochet and then continue with the next section. That's how I'm going to work the neckline. So continue. I will meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. I finished this row of single crochets all around the neckline. I have 64. If you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. Just continue. So here, what I'm going to do for the neckline is I'm going to make 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want this to be too wide, but if you want to make it longer or shorter, you can do more or less chains. That would be up to you. I'm only going to make 4 chains. So beginning into the second chain from the hook, make a single crochet. Single crochet into the next chain, single crochet into the next. So here I have 3 single crochets. Now we're going to turn this to the right side. This row is going to be worked on the right side. So beginning into the first single crochet, make a slip stitch. Into the next one, a slip stitch. Now from here on, this part is the same how we worked the bottom hem. Now turn, beginning into the first single crochet, through the back loop only, make a single crochet, and same thing into the next 2. Here we're only going to be working with these 3 single crochets. Turn, beginning into the first single crochet, make a single crochet through both loops, and into the next 2, a single crochet through the back loop only. Into the next 2 single crochets, make a slip stitch, turn, skip the 2 slip stitches and into the first single crochet, make a slip stitch and a slip stitch into each single crochet through the back loop only. And that's how you're going to continue all around the neckline. I will meet you here at this other end to show you how we're going to work the front panels. I finished the neckline and this is how it looks. Now I finished here at the top. Make sure that you do the same. So here to continue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue here along the edge of the front panel. Now what we're going to do is, like I said, I finished here at the top. Make sure that you do the same thing. So here I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to make a single crochet into each one of these 3 single crochets. There, I have 3 single crochets. Now at the end of the single crochet row, also make a single crochet. Now at the end of the foundation row here, make a single crochet as well. And now we're going to work a single crochet at the end of each one of these rows. The single crochet row and the row of the loop stitch. So beginning into this next row, make a single crochet at the end of the next, single crochet at the end of the single crochet row, and a single crochet at the end of the loopy stitch. And this is how we're going to work the front panel. So continue. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to work this part of the hem. I finished row 1 of the first front panel. Now here at the end, for this part of the hem, I just did 1 single crochet for each one of these stitches. At the end of this first row, I have a total of 60 stitches. If you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. Continue with the next row. So here for row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn. In this row, what I'm going to do is just slip stitches. So beginning into the first stitch through the back loop only, make a slip stitch. A slip stitch into the next stitch through the back loop only, and so on. This is how I'm going to work the front panels. Make sure that these stitches are nice and loose. If you prefer to do a row of single crochets instead, then that's fine. You can make, I don't know, 2-3 rows of single crochets, or even front post and back post half double crochets for the edging here of the front panels. I'm just going to work slip stitches for each stitch, making sure to go through the back loop. So continue like this. Finish this second row. I'll meet you here at the top to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of the second row for the first front panel. In this row we did slip stitches. I have 60 stitches. Now for row 3 we're going to do the same thing. So chain 1, turn, and beginning with the first stitch here through the back loop only, make a slip stitch and a slip stitch into each one of these stitches. Just like this. Continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end of the third row to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of row 3. Now for row 4, 5, and 6, you're going to repeat the same thing. Chain 1, turn, beginning into the first stitch through the back loop only. You make a slip stitch into the next stitch, and so on. This is how you're going to continue working a slip stitch into each one of the stitches, and at the end of each row you're going to have 60 slip stitches. After you finish row 4, you're going to chain 1, turn, and repeat the same thing for row 5 and 6. Go ahead and finish these rows. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished row 6. Here at the end, I just did my last slip stitch, cut my yarn, passed my yarn through this last loop. And this front panel is done, and this is how it looks. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing we did here with the first front panel, here with the second front panel. The only difference is that here on this side I'm going to add buttonholes, and I'm going to do that on row 4. So to begin here, the second front panel, this is the right side. So to begin here, we're going to start at the bottom. Insert your hook on top of the first stitch here for the hem and grab a loop. Chain 1, beginning with this first stitch, make a single crochet into the next stitch. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At the end of the next row, the row of single crochets, make a single crochet. That's 8. Now we have this next section. We have the row of single crochets here. Make a single crochet at the end, a single crochet at the end of the next row, and so on. Here you're just going to make a single crochet at the end of each row for this front panel. So continue your way up. I will meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the top of row 1 for the second front panel. Here I did single crochets along the very edge, and I have a total of 60 single crochets. Now for row 2 and 3, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Beginning with the first single crochet through the back loop only, make a slip stitch and a slip stitch into each one of these stitches through the back loop only. This part here is exactly how we worked the first front panel. So continue, finish row 2. At the end of row 2, you're going to have 60 slip stitches, then you're going to chain 1, turn, and continue with row 3. I will meet you at the end of the third row. I finished rows 2 and 3. For rows 2 and 3, we did slip stitches, and at the end of each row, I had 60 stitches. Now, for row 4, we're going to make buttonholes. So here you need to place some stitch markers. We have 60 stitches, so place a stitch marker in stitch number 3 and 4, 16 and 17, 29 and 30, 42 and 43, and 55 and 56. Between stitch markers, there's 11 stitches. So this is what we're going to do here. For row 4, chain 1 and turn. Row 4 is going to be worked on the wrong side. To begin here, make a slip stitch into the next 2 slip stitches through the back loop only. There, I have 2 slip stitches. Now chain 2. This is going to be for the buttonhole. skip the next 2 stitches, and into the next 11 stitches, make a slip stitch through the back loop only. That's 1, 11, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and into the next 11 stitches, make a slip stitch through the back loop only. That's 1, 11, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and into the next 11 stitches, make a slip stitch through the back loop only. That's 1, 11, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and into the next 11 stitches, make a slip stitch through the back loop only. That's 2, 11, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and into the last 4, make a slip stitch through the back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Here's row 4. At the end of this row, you should have 60 stitches, including the chains. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttonholes. Now, for row 5, chain 1, turn. You can remove the stitch markers now. We don't need them anymore. Beginning into the first stitch, and in each one of these 4 stitches, make a slip stitch into each one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have the 2 chains. This is what created the buttonhole. Make 2 slip stitches here, 1 and 2. Just insert your hook into the space. Now we have the next 11. You're going to work a slip stitch through the back loop only of each one of these stitches. And that's how you're going to work row 5. Row 5 is being worked on the right side, and this is how it looks. Here's the buttonhole. Continue watching. I will let you know what size buttons I'm going to use for my sweater here. So continue for row 5. I will meet you here at the end. I finished row 5. I have 60 stitches. Now for row 6, chain 1 and turn. In this row, we're going to work slip stitches into each one of the stitches and then complete like this. 1 slip stitch through the back loop only of each stitch. And at the end of this row, you're going to have 60 slip stitches. Continue like this, finish row 6, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished row 6. Here at the end, I just did my last slip stitch, cut my yarn, passed my yarn through that last loop. The second front panel is done, and this is how it looks. I also went ahead and attached my buttons. Now, these buttons that I'm using here are 20 millimeter size. And all you do is just attach the buttons here on the first front panel that we did. What I do here is I just tie my buttons, as you can see. You just tie a knot here in the back and then just hide your ends. You can also sew them in. That would be up to you. I like to tie mine. So here is this part done, the front panels. Again, I'm using 5 20 millimeter size buttons. Now, if you want to use smaller size buttons, what you can do here is for row 4, instead of skipping 2 stitches, you just skip 1 stitch, chain 1, and then continue along. You're going to have to figure out how many stitches in between you want to leave between buttonholes. So this part is done. Now I'm going to show you how to do the sleeves. Now here all I did was just make one row of single crochets, and then the second row is just a row of slip stitches. This is optional. You can leave it like this, but I think it would look better if you add these last 2 rows around the sleeve. Now comment below and like the tutorial. Let me know if you want me to make the cardigan version where you add sleeves. It all depends on the number of likes that I receive and the number of comments that I get requesting that. Because it does take a lot of work to do all of this. So comment, like the tutorial, and let me know if you want me to make sleeves so that you can also turn this into a nice little cardigan sweater. So here, to do the sleeves, we're going to go here from the right side. Right under the sleeve, we have that chain that we added to separate the sleeves. So insert your hook here in the middle and grab a loop. I'm going to use the second color here. Chain 1, make a single crochet into this same stitch here, the same space, the center there. Now in this row here, make a single crochet, and now around the sleeve we have 40 stitches. So into each one of these stitches, make a single crochet. Continue all around. I will meet you here at the end to show you how we're going to finish row 1. I'm here at this other end of row 1 for the sleeve. Up to here I have 42 single crochets. Now I'm going to make one more here at the end of the next row. So now I have 43 single crochets. If you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. Just finish the row. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 2, chain 1. Beginning with the first stitch, make a slip stitch through the back loop only, and a slip stitch through the back loop only for each stitch, so that at the end of this second row you also have 43 stitches. Continue all around. I'll meet you at the end of this second row. I finished the second row. Here at the end, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, and passed my yarn through that last loop, and the sleeve is done. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing here with the second sleeve. It's done exactly in the same way. So the loopy vest is done, and this is how it looks. Here's the front, the neckline, the back side, and the hem. Now let me give you the finished measurements. The total length from the top of the shoulder to the end here of the hem, it's measuring about 39 centimeters, which is about 15.25 inches. From under the sleeve to the end here of the hem, it's measuring about 26 centimeters, which is about 10.25 inches. The chest measurement, just the top, it's measuring about 35.5 centimeters, which is about 14 inches. And the sleeve opening from top to bottom, it's measuring about 13 centimeters, which is about 5 inches. And the yoke depth from here to here, this measurement here right across, it's measuring about 15 centimeters, which is about 6 inches. Now the neck circumference all around, it's measuring about 31 centimeters, which is about 12.25 inches. So based on these measurements, this loopy vest is for girls between 3 and 4 years old. Now you can easily make it smaller or bigger. I'd say from 2 to 3 years and up to 4 to 6 years old. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and down here in the information box. Thank you for your support. Now, as far as yarn for the 3 to 4 year size, I used a total of 252 grams, which includes both colors. In the secondary color, I only used about 42 grams. In the primary color, I used 210 grams, which is a total of 252 grams, or about 567 yards, or 517 meters. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. Don't forget to comment and let me know if you want me to make the little sweater version where we add the sleeves. I can gladly go ahead and do that, but make sure to comment and like the tutorial. This was today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.